Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Michael Noland here, and tonight we're going to be discussing the band U2, John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival, Peter Frampton, and yes, even Twisted Sister. Now, the whole video is designed to discuss the latest things happening with these artists and whether or not what they're involved in is a victory for them or, well, a debacle for the rest of us. And you know what? In the case of U2, the jury is still out, folks, and what I'm talking about is their brand new and latest offering coming out. It's called U2 Songs of Surrender. Does that sound even a little bit familiar? More on that in just a minute, but first of all, let's take a look at what this album is supposedly all about. Evidently, the whole project came out when the whole band decided to revisit their whole catalog, pulling out masters and perhaps dropping faders of particular parts. This evidently perked their interest into presenting us an album of 40 songs, by the way, another hint for you guys, that have been reworked and, according to Edge, stripped down. Now, we've seen this before, haven't we, folks, by many artists. The first artist I was really hyperly aware of doing this was a favorite artist of mine, Paul McCartney, on his whole Give My Regard to Broad Street project. There he reworked not only some of his Wings material and solo material, but a couple of Beatle tunes as well. But you know, with the exception of the wonderfully redone Eleanor Rigby, I found the whole project rather lacking, and that album, if not at the bottom of my Paul McCartney list, lies somewhere near it, I can tell you for sure. So I'm a little doubtful at what U2 is offering here. If they're offering us something that not only strips down the music, but perhaps new approaches. Edge did say there'd be new lyrics added even. So I'm hoping this isn't just a lazy reworking and a new way to repackage their old material. If this was done right, this could be an artistic statement on its own. And U2, at their best, always offers us superb art. But I worry that this is nothing more than a slowdown effect as the mighty U2 machine slows down, their drummer not wanting to tour with them anymore. And that was a statement based on him being asked whether he would be touring with U2 in 2023, which leads to my final point here regarding this band. You see, that's the point. They're not touring in 2023, although Bono is saying that he will be doing a few series of concerts, still in connection with his book. You know, the one about 40 songs. Do you see the connection? Here's where I really start to worry, folks. Here I'm starting to see that, what is this? Basically a Bono project, or at least U2 in semi-retirement at least, and sending Bono out to establish his own, solo career from this point on? Either way, I'm anticipating listening to this album. I want to see what they've done with this material, do a lot of A-B comparisons, and I'm sure that's a video coming out on this channel down the line. All right, next up, John Fogerty finally regained worldwide publishing rights for all of his material, going back to and including Creedence Clearwater Revival. Hallelujah. This is the kind of news that goes right to the heart. In recent years, we've seen the opposite, haven't we? We've seen major acts even. Bob Dylan selling his publishing catalog for $200 million, and Bruce Springsteen selling his for $500 million. Hell, Julian Lennon sold what he owned of his father's catalog. I can't believe it. But here we have John Fogerty. To me, folks, this is a true artist in every sense of the word. These are his paintings. These are his creations. these, he wants control over them. He wants to be continually paid for them. He wants to decide on exactly how these songs are published. And guess what else he did? He bought a majority interest in the publishing company, so he won't be having a whole lot of arguments regarding his material from now on. This, folks, is not only a victory for John Fogerty, this is a victory for you and I. If we can develop, and with John Fogerty setting an excellent example, in up-and-coming artists to really hold on and be stingy with their properties and to be very careful, this can only be for the betterment. I'll give you an example. Even though the Beatles never fully owned their catalog, but there for a long, long time, they were able to prevent silly things like Revolution, the song, the recording, to sell tennis shoes or whatnot. But as soon as publishing rights start to exchange hands, there is always a danger of classic artistic statements becoming commercial fodder. Now, I know there's a ton of reasons why a particular artist would choose, especially as you're getting older, to let go of your catalog. And you know what, folks? That usually has a lot to do with that particular artist not really wanting to even be involved in the publishing business to begin with. Paul McCartney was smart at an early age. As a matter of fact, the germination of this whole idea is actually captured on film. I encourage you to watch Get Back, Peter Jackson's reworking of Let It Be, currently on Disney+, but you can see that he's talking to Dick James in a particular scene, and they were discussing how much a certain song would cost. It seemed like John Lennon lost interest, and pretty soon it's just Dick and Paul talking about it. See, Paul has always known that if you are going to be able to artistically have any control of your material, it's always wise to not only own the publishing, but be involved in the damn company. It's a family business after all, right? All right, next up, Peter Frampton has announced he is going to do a live televised concert. As many of you know, Peter has been doing more or less a farewell tour. On that tour, he's had to sit for most of his performance. Due to medical issues, this guy has announced that he wanted to do this tour. I've heard that he sounds good on the tour, and it is more or less a farewell tour. I think this is an excellent way to cap off that tour. You know what? It's sad as we see our rock stars, former icons, artists that we grew up and looked up to get old and get frail. But that's life, folks, and it happens. And of course, you know what? Peter Frampton's going out like a lion, if you ask me. That's a victory on both fronts, on the final tour and the televised event as well. All right, that leads me to my final band I wanted to cover tonight, Twisted Sister. I have never talked about Twisted Sister on this channel. All right, so first of all, I readily admit I'm not a big Twisted Sister fan. Never have been. Had a bit of respect for their lead singer who stood up real well when another kind of cancellation event was happening in the 80s. But other than that, their music did absolutely nothing for me, and their physical presence, well, it did even less. They retired the band in 2016 after their final tour. Their drummer had died the year previously, and Dee Snider was quoted as saying, "I'm glad I've crossed the finish line." But have you, Dee? Have you really crossed the finish line? Because guess what? Evidently, surviving members of Twisted Sister are going to get together for, I guess, a televised event, the Metal Hall of Fame. Now, as you folks know, I can't stand the whole awards thing. Look at the latest debacle on the awards. I mean, what did they have? 6 million viewers. The last time they had closer to 18 million viewers, and that was a decline. I think, thankfully, many of us have just outgrown these ludicrous shows. But you know what? The article didn't mention a damn thing about Dolly Parton being inducted and performing with Twisted Sister, or LL Cool J was a latecomer inductee there at the last second and would join the stage with them. So I'm thankful for that. But none of this takes away the fact that this is just another inane award. Original rockers are rolling over in their graves. I mean, who the hell cares about who's the top this or that, or who's even winning on America's Got More Morons? It doesn't matter really anymore. The audience is lost interest. Oh, but not the artists. They come rising out of their graves to perform. That's not a victory, folks. That's a debacle. All right, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video tonight, please give it a thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm better identify the channel to a larger audience base. The channel grows, and that's good for the channel. That's good for the tribe. Now, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel as of yet, it is so easy. All you have to do is hit that subscribe to the tribe button, then tap that top bell icon, and you'll be notified of all my future videos concerning classic rock and the greatest music out today. All right, so that's it for tonight, folks. And until I can get my next video uploaded, why not watch one of these? I'm Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line. And folks, we are the tribe. And I'll see you in my next video.